Hi, my name is Sarah OBrien, and I'm one of the composers with the Piano Pronto Composers Community. And today is Teaching Tip Thursday. It's my turn to offer some suggestions for how you might teach my music. And today what I'm going to do is talk about my collection of intermediate solos, which is called Full Circle, A Year in 12 Pieces. And it's available right now in digital format. And when you have it printed out, it looks like this. This is one that I had done at Office Depot. I emailed the PDF file to them, they printed it, and then they bound it with spiral binding. But you can also print this at home and just put it in a 3-ring binder. It looks really nice that way also. So what I'm going to do, since this is a big collection and since the general level of the pieces is intermediate, but there are some degrees of difficulty within the collection, and I thought I would try to simplify how you might go about teaching this collection to your intermediate students by offering some insight into what you're going to find inside. So I've written up a document that is uploaded to the Piano the Piano Pronto Composers Community Facebook group. So if you click on the file section at the top of the group page, you can find this. It's called Teaching Tip Thursday, and it has the date, August 25th, 2016, and my name. So that's the title. You'll find it in the files, and it's a 1-page PDF that I'm going to go over with you now. So I don't think you can find this PDF if you're using a mobile device, so just keep in mind that if you want to download the form, you might need to use your laptop or desktop computer. Okay, so the general order of difficulty of these pieces is something that I've come up with based on a certain number of criteria, which I will go over, but you might disagree with this. It's all going to depend on the student that you're working with and their age, their strengths, things they struggle with. But I've done my best to kind of compile the order of difficulty. So actually the easiest piece in the book is December. And I don't think I mentioned this. Every piece in the book is titled by a month of the year. And so you get 12 pieces with month titles, and then you get 2 additional pieces if you order the entire collection instead of getting them individually. The 2 additional pieces are a prelude and a postlude. So I've included those in this overview because they're solos in their own right. So December is, I think, the easiest. Then the prelude would be next. Then October, August, September, the postlude, then January and February, then June, March, July, November, May, and finally April, which I think is the most difficult. So if you weren't taking notes, no worries. This is on the PDF file. So I also have included a breakdown of the modality of the pieces. So there are slightly more of these in major keys than there are in minor keys. There are 8 pieces in major keys, and there are 6 in minor keys. And I won't go into that, but on the video, but it's listed for you over here on the PDF file. So one of the criteria that I used for determining the general order of difficulty is the size of a student's hand. So I have some students who are intermediate and pushing late intermediate level, but they're kind of small because they're in middle school. And so even though their reading level might be advanced enough for them to handle pretty much any of the pieces, their hands just aren't comfortable with some of them. So I would say if you're starting with a younger student who's an intermediate student or an older student who has a small hand, your best choices are going to be August and December. August has no octaves in it at all. December maybe has 1 or 2 octaves, but they're going to be melodic rather than harmonic. In other words, you're playing one note at a time. So, and there aren't very many of those in December. Then if you are looking for something like the easiest right hand part, maybe you want to do some sight reading and you want to look for the easiest things to sight read treble clef. The easiest ones for those would be August, September, October, November, and December. That is just a coincidence that they all are in order and they're all at the end of the year. The easiest left-hand pieces are January, August, December, and the postlude. And of those, I would say the very easiest left hand is in the postlude. So I don't know about you, but usually if a student is struggling to read one clef or the other, it's the bass clef, and I don't really understand why. But one of the things that I have found and enjoyed about using Piano Pronto with my students is that Jennifer has written a lot of, in the early stages, open fifths in the left hand. And for some reason that I can't really explain, that has helped my struggling readers tremendously. And so I have tried to incorporate some of that in full circle, because even though a student might be approaching the intermediate level, they still could struggle with reading the bass clef sometimes. So the postlude is full of fifths. In fact, parallel fifths, no, right, in theory, but still, it's a great way to reinforce reading in the bass clef, I have found. So the postlude would be the easiest left hand of all of them. If you're trying to correlate your student studies in their method book with full circle, I would say that the majority of these pieces are compatible with movement 4 and movement 5. And that's going to vary depending on the individual case. There are some pieces that a late movement 3 student might be able to handle. And then I think if you go beyond movement 5 into the finale and encore movements, you're still going to, you won't be bored with the pieces in full circle. They have enough challenges in them that they work well with the higher levels too. Okay, so I also have on the PDF a key signature quick reference. None of the key signatures in my book exceed 3 sharps or 3 flats. So the norm is going to be either no sharps or flats in the key signature, 1, 2, or 3 sharps or flats. The majority fall into the no sharps and flats. There are 3 pieces with nothing in the key signature. There are 3 pieces with 1 sharp in the key and 3 pieces with 2 sharps. Then there are 2 pieces with 1 flat in the key signature and 2 pieces with 2 flats in the key signature. And then there are 2 pieces that actually change keys within themselves. Those are the postlude and November. Okay, and then let's say that you are not at all concerned about key signature with a particular student, but you are concerned about rhythm. I've broken down the pieces a little bit by how complex the rhythms are. The least complicated rhythms are found in January, June, August, September, October, November, and the postlude. So if you have someone who struggles with syncopation, start with those pieces because you're not going to find any syncopation in there. Then if you want to move into kind of a pop style, or sometimes these are new agey style pieces with simple syncopation, I would go with Prelude, February, March, May, July, and December. And the most complicated, although I wouldn't really say it's an advanced piece, I would say it's later intermediate. The most complicated rhythm is found in April. And April also has a slightly more complex key signature because it has 3 flats. It's in C minor. So that's a lot of information to take in, but I think if you download this form, you're going to find it really helpful if you have purchased Full Circle, or even if you're going to do the individual pieces and not the entire collection. This is a good way to steer you in the right direction for where to start. And I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, just post them in the comments below, and I'm really happy to respond. And I want to say that I'm floored and extremely grateful by how much positive feedback I'm hearing from those of you who have already gotten the collection and tried it out. That means the world to me because, you know, when I first started writing these pieces, I was focused on my own students. And now thinking that they are being played by students literally around the world is unbelievable to me. And so it's a wonderful thing, and it's a heartwarming thing, and it's kind of like I'm sending a piece of me out there to your studios, and that's a huge honor, and I want to thank you for it. So I'll see you next time when I do my next Teaching Tip Thursday. You're going to hear from some other composers in the coming weeks, and then I'll be back on September 15th, I think, with another teaching tip. Have a great day.